Chile tiene autores que están a ese nivel porque claramente ya hay una generación de autores que está trabajando para editoriales de todo el mundo. O sea, hay autores publicando en Europa, publicando en Estados Unidos. La dificultad que hay es que esa calidad se condense en obras que, por ejemplo, se desarrollan en el medio local. En Chile hay autores al nivel de la industria del cómic internacional, pero todavía no hay una industria del cómic nacional establecida. Un autor que necesita vivir del oficio en el que está trabajando, si el medio local no le da los medios para poder vivir de ese oficio, tiene que hacer carrera afuera, sí o sí.
The simple answer is comics to me is life. I mean, I've known comics since as long as I can remember. I grew up wanting to work in comic books. I made my dream become true. It became a reality. And for me, comics is what I do. You know, it's what I live and breathe. I wake up in the morning with a smile on my face, knowing that either if I'm going to the office or I'm getting on a plane or I'm going to meet an artist, that's what makes me happy. My name is CB Cebulski. I am the Senior Vice President of Creator and Content Development at Marvel Comics. Basically what that means, though, is I am the talent scout. I am in charge of bringing the artists into Marvel and then finding a place for them, either in the comic division mainly, but now also in character design, storyboards for the different divisions that Marvel has, you know, as we've grown over the last decade.
Estoy dibujando Clusterfuck para John Parrish, un título independiente. La idea es que esto estuviera listo a finales de marzo y, como se nota, estamos en abril. Lo bueno es que generalmente las editoriales independientes nunca tienen prisa. Prefieren la calidad versus el tiempo, pero tampoco es para exagerar. Claro, también significa que si no termino el cómic todavía no llegan las lucas. Mira, hasta el momento, por lo menos desde 2012, que en verdad he llegado a fin de mes bien, tranquilo. Esto comparado con al menos 2 años en que, bueno, marcho de casa, me voy a vivir solo y había que vivir con lo que llegara. Pero bueno, obviamente para poder... me llegó un planteamiento de que, bueno, se quería mejores clientes. Primero tenía que dibujar mejor y tenía que rendir mejor. Y llegó un momento que ya, bueno, con los títulos que estoy trabajando ahora, al menos me pagan lo que yo pido y a fin de mes llego tranquilo, por suerte. Bueno, lo que tengo sí claro es que en un momento tengo que llegar a trabajar en un editorial grande. Tengo ese planteamiento antes de los 33.
Creo que hay que tener una clara conciencia de que esta es una actividad en la que es muy raro empezar a dedicarse con 100% de exclusividad desde el día 1. Así que lo que yo sí tenía muy claro es que si quería dedicarme a estos rubros creativos, en un principio iba a tener que combinar sí o sí 2 o 3 trabajos en simultáneo para poder generar la sustentabilidad mínima que necesitaba tanto yo en mi proyecto personal como en mi proyecto familiar. Recién después de 4 o 5 años de trabajo continuo publicando en Estados Unidos, se me permitió acceder a proyectos que tenían mejor financiamiento y empezar a dedicarme en forma exclusiva a los cómics.
La verdad es que las clases, básicamente, siempre había querido hacer clases y es también lo que me da el piso a nivel económico. Lo que es cómics lo acomodo dependiendo del horario que tengo. Y siempre hay que hacer el tiempo a riesgo de perder tiempo con la familia, los amigos, la polola, pero lo voy nivelando. En épocas de verano, donde tengo menos clases, cosas así, es mucho más intenso.
Para mí ahora es todo un trabajo. Yo me dedico solamente a hacer imágenes, dibujo, ilustración, fotografía, lo que venga, y ahí dependiendo del día es que tiene más plata y prioridad entonces. Pero para mí todo vale lo mismo. Lo bueno es que los gringos pagan al tiro, entonces es una pega y es súper bueno. ¿Cachai? Me han salvado hartos meses porque yo trabajo freelance, entonces hay meses donde la pega no llega y otros meses donde me salvan por más de un mes.
Dormir 3 horas diarias. eso es. Duermo como 3 horas diarias, los fines de semana obviamente se le dedica a la familia, porque si no se resienten, yo tengo 2 hijos también, por lo tanto tenéis que estar presente. Son 3 horas de sueño.
Por lo menos las editoriales norteamericanas con las que yo tengo mayor experiencia, funcionan con una lógica de la gente en sus primeros proyectos siempre se le paga bastante menos de lo que gana un profesional que ya lleva un par de años trabajando regularmente en el medio. ¿Y eso por qué? Porque una de las dificultades importantes que tiene este oficio es que uno tenga consistencia y continuidad de trabajo en el tiempo y que cumpla con plazos determinados dentro de los proyectos. Y eso es una etapa tentativa en la que muy pocos están dispuestos a arriesgar grandes inversiones, pero en que lo importante es invertir en la experiencia en la que uno está ganando y en la confianza que está generando. Porque una vez que uno construye ese vínculo de confianza, ahí te confían proyectos de más riesgo, de mayor continuidad y de mejores ingresos.
Doesn't matter where you live, doesn't matter what language you speak, doesn't matter, what your political views or your religious views or your sexual views are on anything. Comics is about what's on the page. If your art is good enough to get you hired, if you're good enough to see a scout like myself or from another company and you get your portfolio reviewed, you work at home. Every single artist works from their house, so the internet has brought the world closer together, not only in terms of finding artists, but making delivery of art that much easier. So, it's very easy no matter where you live to get a job working in comics now. Nice to meet you. I'm sorry it took so long for us to finally meet. But can I take a look? Okay?
Okay.
Oh, wrong way. It always happens. I'm going to give you some advice. And it's meant to be constructive, but also I'm not going to be nice. I'm going to be honest, okay?
Thanks.
I really like the beginning pages. The pages that you've inked here, I think are wonderful. The storytelling is very easy to follow, okay? I'm able to move the camera very easily and understand everything. So from panel 1 to the last panel, I understand the story, what happened. So as a storyteller, you did your job. This is great, so bravo. Every last panel is almost like a cliffhanger. So I see this page, it makes me want to carry my eye into the next panel. So again, here, fantastic. Your storytelling is excellent. Now we get to the Spider-Man pages. And this is the hard part for me to say this, but I think these are your least successful pages. I think your storytelling is a little confusing. Here, you get a little bit crazy. Your layouts are a little bit funky. I start on panel 1, but I'm looking down Spider-Man, but because his head comes up so close here, my eye is going here. The tangent is taking me here, so I'm losing this panel. And it's the same thing here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but Spider-Man is shooting back up, so my eye is going back to panel 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4. So you have to always carry the reader's action to the next panel. And here, by breaking the panel borders, you're directing the people in the wrong way. As an artist, if I had to give you a percentage, like you're gonna test at school, from 0 to 100, you're at about 89, 90%. You have to make another 10%, combining everything, and then you could probably be working for us very soon. There's been very few artists that I've hired on the spot. I can think of maybe 3 times in my life where I've opened a portfolio and said, "You're hired," and given them a job. A portfolio review you should never go into a portfolio review thinking you're going to get a job. It's really not. It's like a job interview is what it is. We work in comics. It's fun. We don't have to wear suits or ties, but you have to think of it as a job interview. And you never really go into a job interview and the person says, "Oh, you're hired on the spot." They say, "Oh, we'll call you," or "We'll follow up," or things like that. And that's basically what a portfolio review is. You should be going into a portfolio review just to meet the editor, to get the contact information. Everything that's important happens in the follow-up by email. Sometimes it takes a couple years. I've been working with one guy, I met him 8 years ago, and he finally got his first job at Marvel earlier this year. So you have to have the commitment and the dedication, but also the mindset that you're not going to get a job right away. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of other people that we're working with that are trying to get that same spot. We have an artist who draws Spider-Man. We have an artist who draws X-Men. You're trying to come in and take the job from somebody else. That's what you have to remember. So we have to make sure you're good enough to put on that book, and it is a long process. You have a history of comics here that extends longer than other cultures and countries that I've seen that I've traveled in. Obviously, you had a down period during the dictatorship, but things have been coming back, and I think things are coming back, from what I can see, stronger than ever before. I've done bigger comic book conventions in different parts of the world, but when I walk around the artist alley there, I don't see many people who are as talented as I would have liked them to be. They're drawing, but they're mimicking Dragon Ball, or they're copying Superman, or they're just having fun with their art. They're not committed. I think that's the good point here. The artists here are committed. They're producing comics. They're self-publishing on their own. They're putting out their vision through their brain into their hand onto the page. They're not just drawing, they are drawing comics for themselves, but they have the greater community out there in their mind. And that's something you don't see everywhere. So in that regard, yes, I think the Chilean comic book community and the Chilean comic book culture definitely has a foothold here, and I would love to see it grow and help it grow, because I think with the amount of talent out there, it can be a much bigger comic book scene on the world stage.